5 yards. Oops.
Penalty flag.
First down.
So that's the way you begin the second half, is 1st and 15. He couldn't find the lid over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the kind of thing, the way you want to start your second half. But talking about Tyler Huntley again, look, Mike Tomlin was worried about the safety position. No Minka Fitzpatrick today, and you have to converted corner Patrick Peterson playing safety. Cost him on the touchdown.
Edwards, a 1st and 15 carry, picks up about 3.
Lou, you think it's fair to say Pittsburgh defensively, if you guys want a chance to get in, like to have those games matter tomorrow when you're watching, you're going to have to be the unit that carries you to this win in the second half, right? Backups, Baltimore offensively. TJ Watt, Highsmith got to be difference, guys?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what they've always been, and that's definitely what they have been, especially over the past 2 weeks. But I think even more importantly, look, the offense has to continue to operate efficiently like they have over the past 2 weeks. Run the football, don't turn it over, don't hold on to it.
Doesn't get rid of the ball there. Brought down by TJ Watt, who does have sack number 18 on the season and takes over the league lead. It's 3rd and long. That's why they started with the 1st and 15. The hustle to get Huntley his helmet. It wasn't on the quarterback,
That's
apparently.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Some of the most routine things. Mike Tomlin says all the time, do the routine things routinely. Going out on the football field, knowing where your helmet is, might be one of those things.
It doesn't feel like anything's routine today.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Even the simple things. Well, 3rd and 16, not where they want to be, to say the least.
Especially with these edge pass rushers that they have.
Steelers showing a lot of pressure. End up rushing only 4, and Huntley does have time to scan. And flips it over the middle, off the hands, incomplete. Treadwell had a catch his first of the season in the first half, couldn't come up with that, and a quick 3 and out.
Really good job. I've actually been impressed for the most part through the majority of this afternoon with Pittsburgh's coverage unit. Again, playing against some receivers that they're not going to be, but watch, TJ Watt is going to come in and then he's going to drop. Huntley ends up vision, and he takes the check down and then comes and attacks Huntley to force that ball.
Stout has done a terrific job punting in these conditions. It's driven back, and Austin had to go off the fingertips, but the kick was so long, the coverage team didn't get down there very quickly. He's able to turn things around and avoid a disaster. Gets the ball back near the 35.
Chris, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that ball security is going to determine this football game.
That was
conditions are getting the best.
That's why you're at the top of the game. Can C.J. Stroud continue a tremendous rookie season into the playoffs? Comes down to one game. Houston and Indy. Is it a take on that one?
Look, C.J. Stroud has just been spectacular. Spectacular. But what Shane Steichen is doing, not just for the offense, but for that team overall, in terms of the Indianapolis Colts and the kind of confidence they're playing with right now, that is going to be a heck of a watch tonight.
And if not for Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, you're probably looking at one of those two guys as the coach of the year, with DeMeco Ryans and Houston done, and what Shane Steichen, without Anthony Richardson, their first-round quarterback, have done, winning in for either of those teams.
Meantime, Pittsburgh trying to make these games tomorrow meaningful. And Najee Harris begins the drive by barreling into Baltimore territory as he's getting closer to 100 yards or 1,000 yards for the season. 15 more there. That's what the Steelers did in the first half. That 76-yard play with Harris grinding it out mostly on the ground, but not a good end to the half.
You have to remember how the rush percentage has really ticked up here in the last quarter of the season for Pittsburgh. From a philosophical standpoint, I promise you they're going to go back to it here in the second half and put it in the hands of the running backs.
Put on Harris's hands again. And he's stopped by Pierce and company after about a yard.
What an interesting situation here for Pittsburgh. You saw Mason Rudolph there maybe at the end of the first half, with maybe not getting the ball out of his hands and playing on time like he has, Dan, so far in the past 2 weeks. Pittsburgh's got an interesting decision to make here this offseason with their quarterback situation. Mason Rudolph is on a one-year deal. Kenny Pickett is now healthy. What does the future hold for him, given how this offense has looked without him? This is a big offseason for Pittsburgh in many, many ways, regardless of when it starts.
They hope it doesn't start on Monday. Harris tries to bounce it. That's what they want him to do. And Jadeveon Clowney came up with that lucrative sack in the first half with the tackle for loss. Laura?
You guys are talking about these Pittsburgh quarterbacks, and I just want to point out that Kenny Pickett has been a great teammate on the sideline here for Mason Rudolph. It's got to be tough for him watching the starter beat Mason Rudolph instead of him, but obviously discussing what's happening on the field. Also, even at one point, Kenny Pickett went and got a staffer to help him move a heater closer to Rudolph to keep him warm. That really stuck out to me, guys.
That's being a teammate.
Yeah, it is.
Here's the ankle injury for Pickett against Arizona week 13. He's healthy now, but because he's not as experienced as Rudolph, might be a little rusty. That's why Rudolph has the start. Trying to get the snap off before the play clock expires. And see a flag in the field. Do they spend a timeout?
Snap. Delay a game.
Nope.
The clock ran out.
If I was Pittsburgh right here, you see Mason Rudolph try to get that snap off. I would do one of two things. This would be a perimeter screen, likely to George Pickens. I believe they have to get him the football. Or, honestly, Lewis, I would take a shot. I would take a shot downfield to George Pickens and give him a one-on-one ball. Worst case scenario, it gets picked off and you tell him go make a tackle.
No, I like the option of the screen game. I think I want to get the ball out of Mason's hands, because with the way Baltimore is rushing the passer, I don't want him holding it any longer than he has to.
Bobbled snap there, just falls on it. And Pittsburgh, very, very sketchy on offense. The last 4 possessions going backwards.
There it is right there, right? Ball security, anything that's going to increase the chances of us giving the ball away, especially in our own territory.
Did he take his eyes off the ball to take a look at the rush there, Dan, a little too soon?
Yeah, I mean, everything has got to be exacerbated, right? Like, you have to make sure eyes to the ball, the squeeze for an extra moment. Everything's a big deal.
Wallace, give it to Edwards for a short one.
And if you're Todd Monken and you're looking at Pittsburgh's defense and you're trying to knock them out of the playoffs, I am attacking between the numbers, off of play action, and I'm going after these safeties. It's what Mike Tomlin is worried about.
Sure.
You saw already in this football game, look, Patrick Peterson, a fantastic, fantastic player in this league for a long time, trying to learn a new position. No Minka Fitzpatrick out here. Isaiah Likely is going to become a big part of the game for me.
Eric Rowe, the safety, has a neck injury, questionable to return. He's not out there at the moment.
Yeah, they've just been decimated at the linebacker position and the safety position. So if you're Baltimore and you're going to throw this football, number 80's got to be big.
I love that, Lewis. And if you're Baltimore, where's number 90 and where's number 56? 2 drives ago, T.J. Watt starts, sack on second down. That last third down, he knocks the chip off, covers the check down, and then he goes attacks Tyler Huntley. The plan to protect against those 2 pass rushers has got to be paramount.
Pass rushers are leaning forward now in 3rd and 7. Huntley is swarmed and sacked. You could see it coming as T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward both got there. Very predictable, right?
Yeah. There it is. I mean, this is spectacular. The get off, the lean, Lou, and the ability to get home.
Look, that's Terrell Austin right there, the defensive coordinator of the Steelers. This is their game plan. They're going back to it now. They're saying this: we're just going to come and get your quarterback. We're not going to let you get any more comfortable than you already have become. So here we come.
Jordan Stout has had a phenomenal game. It's another good boot. Austin retreats, tries to spin and dance on this sloppy track, and it'll be brought down. A 56-yarder. He's done. That's an especially terrible towel. This soggy, cold day. Temps in the high 30s. Both offenses had to deal with it. Both pass rushes have gotten cranked up. The Steelers have a total of 5 fumbles on the afternoon. They lost 2 of them. Back to work here, trying to get this offense sparked. Still looking to see if they can involve number 14. I love the conversation between you guys. It doesn't matter where he lines up, find a space for him. Who cares what the coverage is? Get it to him. You see it differently, Lewis?
Well, no. I mean, look, we said that he was the guy who kind of sparked this past 2 weeks anyway. Against Cincinnati. I'm saying this, though. Mike McDonald, there's a reason why we're talking about him being a head coaching candidate. He's not going to just make it easy for you to line up and throw it over the top of their head. He's just not going to let you do that.
Harris downhill, grabbed him up near the helmet. I don't see a flag. It's a first down yardage.
Yeah, that looked like an easy call, and you can see Najee jumping up right there going, how did you miss that?
We're not bringing in John Perry to talk about that, but he does have an interesting subplot on this nasty weather day, John.
Prior to the game, both the crew will both prepare both the primary and the backup balls. They are each in a bag, 12 apiece. The backup balls are secured, but now that they're so waterlogged, both teams have elected to use the backup footballs.
Backup players and backup footballs in play here.
Now we may have a one-on-one situation at the top of the screen.
Where Pickens is. Now they're going to run it to Harris again, and he'll take a loss. Forced out of bounds by Delshon Phillips.
Baltimore will take that all day long. You want to toss the football to Najee going laterally, we'll play you that way. If you want to get big boy going that way, that's playing right into our hands. You've got to keep him going north and south.
And Lewis, for Pittsburgh offensively, they really haven't had much success outside of one play running the ball to the perimeter, but they have running in between those tackles. Two big runs in this second half have come from that inside zone. That's what they need to lean into in this second half.
Jalen Warren only has 6 carries so far. I'm surprised he's not a bigger part of this run game attack.
Harris motions out, empty backfield. And no chance to get the ball away. Off the blitz, Trent Simpson, the rookie, makes a sack.
And this is a guy who they really said they wanted to get him going, that he's working hard, learning the defense. Super explosive player out of Clemson. You just see him right here, starting from deep, starting from depth. Offensive guard James Daniels sees him late. It's too late. I mean, Trent Simpson's a 4'4", 40 guy with this freakish athletic ability. You saw it there.
Ended up being just a 4-man rush, but Simpson not accounted for. Each team with 3 sacks now. 3rd and 20. They dump the ball down to Warren, and another quick and unproductive series for the Steeler offense. Still haven't looked Pickett's direction.
And the frustrating thing is, for the past couple weeks, it's been so good. And right now, I feel like they're getting in their own way offensively. They're not getting the ball to George Pickens. We've talked about them running the ball in the perimeter instead of trying to run right at Baltimore, which they've had a little bit of success about today. They need to get focused on those two things.
Demarion Williams now back to receive the punt. Auburn gets it away. There's a first down throw to the near side, off target. It's Treadwell.
Bad weather like this, wind whipping around, it's rainy. The long throws out to the perimeter for a guy like this who hasn't played this year. Like, I don't understand that. Attack the middle of the Pittsburgh is rotating inside linebackers in here because of the fact that they don't have a guy who they can count on play after play after play. Attack the middle of the field.
You think defensive backs, would you be sitting on stuff like that knowing the weather as a DB? Outside?
Yeah, you would, but I'll tell you what. This is a good team running sluggers, running double moves. I wouldn't want to do it too much. I would be worried, quite honestly, about them trying to throw the football between the numbers.
Gotcha. Straight back, there's a pass between the numbers as they find the tight end Charlie Kohler and move the 6 to the 30, Coach.
That's where they should continually try to attack, because that's where Pittsburgh is most efficient from a defensive perspective. You see it right here. You see the middle of the field, second level, be vacated, and if I wanted to take a deep shot, I'm trying to get a guy one-on-one against one of these safeties. I'm trying to see if Patrick Peterson is comfortable playing from the middle of the field and not on a corner like he's done his entire career.
It's Pittsburgh defense that's challenged up the middle on the 2nd and 3rd level. It's Edwards running to the right. You got, Landon Roberts, Mark Robinson, Miles Jack, Walker, guys that Tomlin called solid NFL players, but not standouts. And again, they're rotating in, and no Minkah Fitzpatrick up the middle.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, Chris. I mean, especially at the command and control center, as I like to call it on defense. When you're missing players at those areas, communication breakdowns happen, especially in the red area. We saw that. We have guys playing out of position. You picked Eric Rowe off the street. Now Eric Rowe's not there. Right. You're moving a Hall of Fame corner to safety. He's trying to make the transition, and you're playing for your playoff life.
See if they can hold up here in the last 19 minutes. Huntley on the move, flips it late over the middle, and it's complete out near midfield to Nelson Aguilar. 16 yards.
It's a great job by Huntley. Get outside the pocket.
I think we got TJ Watt down.
Oh, no. Appears to be in pain, pounding that fist on the field. TJ, we talked about, just so driven, so starving for a playoff win. This is a little bit of friendly fire. Watch here as he goes up in the air, right in the middle of your screen. And not seeing him, backing into him as Montravius Adams and catching that
left
knee.
leg.
Already 2 sacks to take the sole lead in the league in that category. Steelers bring some pressure. Huntley pump faking, dancing around now, trying to create on the move, and just throws it away. 3rd and long now coming up.
Yeah, I think again, you're trying to, I'm just going to keep repeating it. You're trying, you see Isaiah Likely and Justice Hill coming into the football game for the Ravens. You're trying to make sure you continue to work the middle of the field. And now without TJ Watt on the field, you're hopeful that you'll have some more time to throw and survey and pick apart the zones.
Yeah, and I think Pittsburgh needs to try to do everything they can to not allow Tyler Huntley to go make creative plays. 2 times today they've seen or allowed him to get outside of the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. Keep him in the pocket and allow those pass rushers to get home.
Hill gets out of the backfield, and it's off his fingertips. It was another long throw to the sideline by Huntley. Little bit off target, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, you said it, that long throw, the throw that really requires great arm strength, timing, anticipation, being on the same page with the receiver. Just looked like it never had a chance.
So once again, they'll send out the busy Jordan Stout. He'll try to knock the ball dead, pin the Steelers back. Austin standing at his 10. Steelers come after this one. It's a low snap. Stout gets it up, and fair caught just outside the 10-yard line. We continue to wait the first target today for the uber-talented second-year wide receiver, George Pickens.
And part of it, and Lewis has been all over this, is the way that they've played off of him and had a safety over the top. They haven't given him any short completion, but haven't given him the opportunity to go deep. And Pittsburgh's tried to maybe move him around a little bit. I do believe at some point, listen, I played with the player Calvin Johnson. I'm not saying George Pickens is Calvin Johnson, but he is an incredibly talented young man. And there would be moments as a young player where I would just think, I am just going to throw this ball to Calvin. I don't care if it's single team, double team, or triple team, and give him a chance to make the play. More often than not, he did.
Harris gets the carry and bangs forward for about 5. Najee once again very close to a 1,000-yard season as TJ Watt makes his way toward the locker room.
Hate to see
walking
that.
Okay.
He's a little bit of a limp, but I hate to see the fact that they said, hey, look, we're going to take you inside and evaluate you too now. But this guy, look, he is just a different dude. Yeah. He's a different dude in the history of the league as a pass rusher, let alone what he means to this organization.
Harris again. TJ talked about taking that next step beyond being a leader, which he has been for a long time, and trying to do what he can to make every single teammate around him better in some way. Elevate their own game and get them to the next level.
Called himself a factor multiplier. Yep. And he said, I'm at the point where younger players, he's sharing information with them. Everybody's needed. And I think Pittsburgh, quarterback sneak inside run here to get a first down.
Instead, they hand it off, and the first touch of the game is Pickens on an end around of all things. And he does turn the corner and navigate for a first. Not what you had in mind.
That's not what we had on the old bingo card, huh? George Pickens on the jet sweep.
That's the touch that we want?
Yeah, I mean, usually that's Calvin Austin. That's usually 19 doing that. George is like, look, I'll take anything I can get.
Does he? Does he?
No, he doesn't. He's just freakish. He's just so different. So different.
Can we touch on quickly the conversation about him in the past couple weeks?
Well, they're looking first of all to Delshon Phillips, the guy who made the big play to punch the ball. It's not a good look. TJ Watt, gloves off, able to walk to the locker room, but looked like his day is done. On the last play, 2 Ravens were hurt. Delshon Phillips is on the sidelines, and the safety, Gino Stone, has had a terrific season. 7 interceptions. He's in the medical tent. First and 10, handed to Harris.
Yeah, you're having to, again, call on your depth. Call on the guys who don't get a whole lot of reps in practice to really get some experience here. Get some experience in a game that they may not need. But, man, these are valuable reps for these guys. You want to keep them on the field.
And if I think about Pittsburgh offensively, know there's some injuries or replacement players in the back end. You're going to protect coverage-wise. A play-action pass to try to get a crosser in that second level and take advantage of that umbrella coverage.
Pickens to the right. Rocky Yassin is the corner, giving him a nice big cushion. But again, they hand it off to Najee inside. He plows forward. It'll be 3rd and medium.
Mike McDonald said, hey, look, man, we're going to back off. We've learned our lesson before, and when we roll to them and cloud the corner, as they call it, and get up on the line, we're going to get some help over the top. He was not getting, his face got stone serious when he said, hey, we made some mistakes before. We're going to try not to do them again.
Final quarter coming up. The Steelers battling for their playoff life here on the road, trying to keep this drive going. Will face a 3rd down.